Coming up, we visit the legendary Balanced Rock in beautiful Colorado Springs. Situated in the iconic Garden of the Gods Park, this strange and unusual geological feature is yet another one of America's many wheelchair-accessible landscape photography destinations. Learn how to capture amazing images and watch as Mother Nature defies gravity at this must-see landmark.
Greetings friends, in this episode I'm going to show you everything you need to photograph the iconic Balanced Rock. Now the camera has taken me all across the world and I can say for sure that this is easily one of the best destinations for wheelchair accessible landscape photography. So if you or someone you know is living with a disability, this is definitely the place to put on your radar. Alright, we got a lot of work to do, so let's get going.
Before we get started, it is important to point out that there are in fact several locations throughout the American Southwest which bear the moniker Balanced Rock. Some of these locations are wheelchair accessible, and others are not. To be clear, our Balanced Rock lives just outside the city of Colorado Springs. Here we find ourselves amongst the soaring red rock towers of Garden of the Gods. And much to its credit, a large portion of this entire park is also wheelchair accessible, making it the ideal destination for just about anyone who wants to experience the great outdoors without the hassle of rugged terrain. As destinations go, Garden of the Gods is one of this landscape photographer's all-time favorites. The paved pathways offer up epic views at just about every turn, and as a bonus, it's pretty much amazing no matter what time of year you visit. The landscape is home to a large forest of hardy juniper trees, which keep their foliage throughout the year. This means that even if you show up in the dead of winter, the garden will easily deliver a cornucopia of spectacular scenery.
And part of that spectacular scenery is right here at the edge of the park, where we find ourselves at Balanced Rock. Now before we get too into the nitty-gritty of photography, let's take a quick tour of the area because I want to show you just how great this place is for accessibility.
The first thing that you'll notice is that the rock feature itself is right next to a very generous parking area. Everything is paved, and so there's no major hiking required to get right up close and personal with the focal point of this location. Now, while the parking area affords a lot of convenience, it also creates a pretty big challenge. Anytime you are around a lot of moving vehicles, you have to maintain safety as your top priority.
Therefore, it is critical for you as a photographer to maintain an elevated level of situational awareness.
This is a very popular tourist destination, which accommodates thousands of visitors every month. Many of these people have never been here before, which means they spend the day driving through the park, mouths agape at the plethora of spectacular scenery. Needless to say, motorists in this state of euphoria are not always paying razor-close attention to the road or to the pedestrians walking around.
The fastest way to ruin a perfectly good day is to get mowed down in the middle of the street with your camera. So I'm not going to do that, and neither should you.
It is easy to lose yourself in the moment when you are looking through the lens of your camera. If you put yourself in a compromised position, standing in the middle of the road for instance, and you're not paying attention to the world around you, this can quickly spell disaster. So do yourself a favor and stay away from cars.
Fortunately, the best places to photograph Balanced Rock do not put you in the crosshairs of oncoming traffic. And so now that we have our safety briefing out of the way, it's time to talk photography.
Let's start with the basics. For instance, what's the best time of day to photograph this location? The answer? I would say sunrise. The rock rests upon a plateau with its flank facing due east. It catches morning sunlight and turns a fiery orange. Sunrise is also the best time to avoid the crowds. If you arrive early in the morning, you'll likely have this place all to yourself. Although I will say that each one of my sunrise visits did still include a handful of early birds lurking around with their cameras. And as the popularity of the great outdoors continues to grow, the chances of being all alone outside are sadly becoming a thing of the past. What's the best composition? Well, my friends, that part is going to be entirely up to you. Composition is, of course, a creative decision, to which there is no right or wrong answer. For me personally, I like to wander back and forth until I find the angle which shows the tiniest amount of base holding up the rock. This typically gives us the most dramatic defiance of gravity. Coming at it from a low angle makes the scene look more imposing, as the balanced rock towers above, majestically circumventing physics, like a giant rock balloon tethered to a tiny rock string. What lens should I bring? Like most places, I shoot this location with the trusty 24 to 70mm zoom lens. Pretty much every landscape and travel photographer out there has this lens or something close. If you don't have this lens, well then, it might be time to tickle that consumer therapy itch and do a little shopping. I also use a tripod and I bracket my exposures. If you shoot this location first thing in the morning, the sunlight tends to create very large exposure disparities between light and dark, giving us super bright highlights and totally blacked out shadows. I would not trust a single RAW file to bring all of this together. So again, be sure to bracket.
All right, let's say you can't exactly make it to the location at first light and you happen to be here right in the middle of all the tourists. That's okay, because I'm gonna show you a technique we can use to help us out with this. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go around and shoot images of the local area, rocks, trees, sky, and this is gonna give us the stock photography, raw materials that we can use to clone all of these tourists out in post-production.
Much like ants to a picnic, the tourists swarm the formation in droves, making it nearly impossible to get a clean shot that is devoid of people. Children and parents alike all pantomime the feat of miraculous human strength required to prevent the rock from toppling over, all while Grandma furiously fires pictures with her phone. The tourists buzz in an endless rotation, and if you think you can wait it out for that perfect shot, think again. This type of frenzy is actually pretty common these days because all those selfies end up on the internet and the cycle continues. So, now what?
All right, I know what you're thinking. What on earth are we gonna do about all these tourists? I mean, you saw the time lapse. It's practically a Congo line of people waiting to get their picture in front of the rock. Now, normally any self-respecting landscape photographer would not come anywhere near this place during peak tourist hours. However, the light and the clouds are just so good during this time of day. So why should we as artists have to sacrifice our photography for the sake of the selfie-snapping iPhone brigade? So we're just gonna get rid of everyone in Photoshop.
Armed with a diverse arsenal of stock photos from the surrounding area, we should now have enough raw materials to take on the tourists. Using the power of pixels, we lift up mighty mountains and bumper sticker them over top of our innocent bystanders. The unwitting vacationers never knew what hit them as they are masked into oblivion and replaced with stark, uninterrupted forest. Gone are the fanny packs, novelty t-shirts, and oversized pickup trucks. And in their place, nature, the way nature intended. One might ask, is it okay to clone people out of your images? Well, is it okay that Instagram and TikTok have sent swarms of tourists into our once peaceful, natural sanctuaries? Like it or not, there they are. So is it ethical to create composite images using building blocks gathered from the local area? And at what point do we just go totally bonkers and cross over into a completely different reality, where this thing might as well just be generated by AI while you sit on your computer chair with a landslide of Dorito crumbs cascading down your face?
Whoa, easy there, Tiger, settle down. Okay, granted, I do not own balanced rock any more than the next person. In fact, it belongs to all of us, and everyone should have equal opportunity to visit these incredible destinations. However, as more tourists continue to explore the great outdoors, photographers will have to make certain adaptations in order to accomplish our creative vision.
Alright, getting back to our original topic. Balanced Rock is a great place for photography, and moreover, it's a great place for wheelchair-accessible photography. The same can be said for Garden of the Gods Park, and we have a new video on that coming soon, so be sure to check back. For now, if you find yourself traveling to Colorado Springs in the near future, be sure to put this location on your list of places to visit. And I know, here I am on the internet sending you into the great outdoors. Fortunately, unlike some of the more delicate places out there in nature, this park is designed to handle lots of visitors. So you're not going to disrupt the space-time continuum when you stop by. Hopefully, your next photography trip will inspire something you've never tried before. And if there's one thing the camera has taught me, it's that we can always benefit from a new perspective.
All right, friends, as always, thank you so much for joining us. I certainly hope that you had fun on our little Balanced Rock adventure. Now, if you know of any amazing locations for wheelchair-accessible landscape photography, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to showcase those places on this channel. All right, also be sure to like and subscribe. We got a lot of cool new stuff coming up, and I don't want you to miss out. That's gonna do it for now. We'll see you in the next lesson.